I can muster
That
the
very
enthusiasm.
crusty Sega audio right there.
Welcome to Sonic Blast, the very last Sonic Game Gear platformer in 1996.
You could say they went out with a bang, all right. One meant to drag us all down to hell.
All right, so let's start with. So we're gonna play as Knuckles. This is the only one of the 8-bit platformers that has Knuckles in it. So might as well play with Knuckles.
No, don't play as Eggman.
No, sorry, Eggman is just laughing there just because. And we're gonna start with everybody's favorite, Green Hill Zone. It doesn't really look very much like Green Hill Zone. It looks more like
No, I know what you're thinking. Boy, gee, Holly, Donkey Kong Country sure looks out more washed out than I remember it to be. No, believe it or not. No, believe it or not, folks, this was a Sonic game at some point. And this is not just a Sonic game that's using a DK Country mod or something.
This was the time when Silicon graphics were incredibly popular in video games because of Donkey Kong Country's popularity. Sonic 3D Blast did it, the Super Mario RPG did it, and this game also did it on the Game Gear, even though it was a platform that didn't really suit. And there you go, that's the end of that one.
But I respect that effort. It shows what you could do with the system.
The point was using it
also, Vector Man was fun.
Although, I guess one thing we could consider is like, well, the technology was very impressive here and there. And, perhaps for when this game came out, this was looked at as impressive that they could fit so much into a handheld of this caliber. So kudos there. That said, this game has aged like spoiled milk.
Basically,
it looks like spoiled milk.
You can tell the graphics were the primary source of attention from the part of the developers because this game, it really looks like Aspect phoned it in because the controls are really weird because the momentum doesn't feel right. And after marathoning throughout the entirety of the 8-bit library, and there you go, just like in Sonic 3, you go into special stages by finding a big ring. And there you go, special stage. So you just have to get...
That ring looks...
Yes.
I know, yeah, it looks tiny, doesn't it?
That ring barely looks any bigger than the regular ones.
It is a bit thicker, though.
So yeah, the special stage literally amounts to just this. Get 50 rings before the time runs out. That's it.
It's sort of
Where's the timer?
Well, okay. Technically, it's not a timer. It's more so the fact that the special stage has an end to it. If you don't collect 50 rings by the end of it, okay. Let me put it in the simplest way. Just
it's like this half pipe in Sonic 2 where you have to collect a certain amount of rings.
Except the game doesn't make it clear that that's how it works. You just have to realize it by the first time you play it. Go ahead.
Think about it like this. It's a fusion of the Blue Ball stages from Sonic 3 and Knuckles and the airplane stages from the earlier 8-bit games.
I think these are a lot easier than the Sonic 2 ones, though.
Yes.
You're walking on a straight line.
Unfortunately, Shiroi, I would disagree with you there because much like the plane stages in Triple Trouble, they had that problem with distance perception because there's a lot of times where I swear that I'm right in front of a ring, and yet for some reason I just pass by it.
This is true, but I think these stages move slow enough compared to that one that it isn't too bad. There is definitely that issue is still definitely there.
They look easier than the Mega Drive version of 3D Blast.
No, Debs, yeah. I'm gonna completely stop it right there. No, on the Mega Drive game, I can actually tell when I'm gonna collect the ring, and it's so abundantly easy. Whereas with these special stages, there's less room to maneuver. Whereas in the ones in 3D Blast Mega Drive are literally a cakewalk. Literally, you get 150 rings before you even reach the third section.
Is this one of the ones where you can bounce on the water?
Well, most of these 8-bit platformers can, right? It became kind of a thing with Aspect.
Anyway, I'm kind of gonna agree with Shiroi. As someone who's played this game, I never had a trouble with the special stages in this game. It's like Shiroi said, they move slow enough that I never had that issue. Maybe it's just how I operate, but I mean, these honestly feel like some of the easiest special stages of the franchise.
Well, I never said they were that easy. I just said they were easier than the Sonic 2 ones, which, yes, they are.
Well, I'm speaking from my own experience, though.
Hold up. You got hit and you still have 30 rings?
For me, in order to be quote-unquote the easiest, they would have to have 0 design issues. And since there are design issues, like we've just mentioned, I don't consider that...
I think you only lose 10 rings when you get hit, is that right?
But he didn't lose, but the ring count didn't drop. Are you using hacks?
Yes, I'm using cheats again.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Once again, Pedro showing that he's a real gamer.
To be fair, Deji, this game is
not
good.
Oh no, Deji doesn't consider me a true gamer. How can I ever live with myself now? I like my entire life is entirely dependent on Deji's approval. What am I to do now, guys?
I don't know. You just.
I mean, I'm glad that you realized that. So good.
Whatever.
Hey, look, Pedro! It's a return of your favorite, the tubes.
Oh,
yes,
the tubes.
because well, okay. To be fair, the tubes in this zone are not particularly egregious because they're minimal. It's mostly when we get to the water zone that the tubes become really egregious.
I never got past the cave zone, whatever the hell that is, because I just couldn't be bothered.
Sure.
I will say, for all the problems that this game has, they are surprisingly merciful considering how short these stages are.
That being said, I hate the water level.
Problem, so.
Not just that, I hate the water zone with a passion because it's intentionally designed to screw you over in terms of how you progress. Because the level design is just so maze-like that it's just annoying. But we'll get to it. So this is Yellow Desert. Yes, Yellow Desert.
I mean Sandopolis.
What are you talking about, Deji?
Without the ghosties.
This is Yellow Desert.
So it's good.
So, Pedro, I'm guessing that between the two Sonic Blast, you prefer the 3D one over this one.
No, yeah, well, call me old-fashioned, but I prefer my special stages devoid of design issues.
Wait, Wait, which 3D Blast are we talking about? Saturn or Genesis?
Mega Drive.
So, Genesis.
Well, I'm talking about specifically the special stages.
We're European, remember?
If you're not talking about which are the best special stages, definitely Saturn Blast, definitely. And that's pretty much it. Every special stage boils down to the same thing, really. Once you've seen one of the special stages, you've seen them all, really. Go ahead, you were saying?
Yeah, in regards to this and Sonic 3D Blast, did they come out around the same time?
Yes.
Huh.
I think so. I mean, well, I know that the Saturn version of 3D Blast came later because, you know, to make up for the cancellation of Extreme. Let me double check real quick.
I remember, like, back in the 90s, there were, like, 2 or 3 Sonic games being released pretty much every year around that, so...
It'd be interesting, though, naming both of them a form of blast.
Because blast
processing.
Yeah, exactly. It was meant to be...
The Game Gear never had that, though.
Well, it does now.
Yeah, but it's not doing a very good job of doing it, is it?
Okay, apparently, yeah, it was indeed released in 1996 on the Mega Drive. So basically, it was supposed to be, according to Sega, the Mega Drive swan song. Let me see... There you go. The Mega Drive version came out in November 1996, and the Saturn version came out in early 1997.
I'm not the biggest fan of Sonic 3D Blast, but I guess in terms of being a swan song, you could do far worse.
I didn't mind it.
My problem with 3D Blast is that
it also has its depth perception issues.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. It's a consequence of the isometric perspective.
Yeah.
Also, I hate this gimmick. Seriously, you just go into one of the holes and it sends you through this scripted path, and there's no way to tell which hole is the right one. You just have to try everyone and wait till you find the right hole that the game wants you to go to. Again, no actual puzzle solving on part of the player. Like, you just try every hole until you find out the right one by accident. Really.
I feel like there's supposed to be a way you can tell by looking at the shapes of the holes, and then they send you on a pattern based off of those, if I recall correctly.
All the holes look the same. I can tell. It's literally the exact same sprite repeated over the course of the wall.
Actually, okay, they don't look all the same. Some look slightly wider than some of the others. Some are sunken in halfway through.
Apparently someone in the development team is a fan of Journey to the West.
Yes. Apparently, so is Eggman. He's developed a robot that can literally form.
Okay, so obviously, have you not seen their super forms?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah. My guess is they were thinking, okay, Dragon Ball was inspired by Journey to the West. Let's throw in a Journey to the West reference in here. And
in the Archie comics, there is a character named Monkey Cat who is literally just Son Wukong.
Okay. And the interesting thing is that, as a result, that's the most memorable boss in the game to me. Just because of that reference alone. But anyway,
I just love to imagine that Eggman was. I just love to imagine that Eggman literally was in a huge Japanese mood and decided to make a robot that can literally generate its own cloud.
So I'm guessing Shiroi.
Mystical.
So
but it wasn't even a cave; it was a volcano. I stopped here.
Red volcano, and now you probably noticed the pattern with the zone naming in this game: Green Hill, Yellow Desert, and now Red Volcano. It's always a color followed with the place, basically.
It's looking pretty purple though for a red volcano.
So are we gonna have Blue Ocean at some point?
Yeah, Shiroi actually makes a good point. This volcano looks more like a purple volcano than anything.
I mean, Knuckles is red. Some of the enemies are red.
I mean, yeah, there's lava. Yeah, I mean, there's lava in it. Yeah, but the actual volcano rocks themselves look purple.
I guess purple is technically considered a shade of red in some contexts, so
it's close enough, I guess.
I guess
call it.
Oh boy, you got Supersonic!
Which is weird because there's no Supersonic in this game. Once again, there's only 6 emeralds. In fact, actually no. If I remember correctly, no, there's actually only 5 emeralds in this one. There's not even 6. There's only 5 in this game. So there's no Supersonic. Why even bother putting a Supersonic image on the goalpost if Supersonic is nowhere to be found in this game?
Because we want Supersonic to have some sort of representation in the 8-bit games.
Was it really worth it though?
How much? Well, it depends. How much money did this game make?
Not many, because at the time nobody was really playing the Game Gear anymore. 1996. By this point, the Game Boy had completely destroyed the Game Gear in terms of sales. So
I mean, the same year this came out, Pokemon came out.
Yeah, exactly.
1996?
In Japan specifically, yeah.
Yeah, it took till 98 in America and 99 here in Europe, but still.
It becomes abundantly clear that Sega in 1986, because they really wanted to make up for the cancellation of Extreme, so they threw in. They told Traveler's Tales to, quickly make a port to the Saturn of 3D Blast, and told Aspet, make yet another platformer, Sonic platformer on the Game Gear, because of all the games, this was the one that feels the most half-baked, because the level design is so devoid of anything interesting, and the special stages are very samey. And they're compared this to Triple Trouble. Triple Trouble had 2 different special stages.
Okay, Pedro, I'm just gonna say right now, visually, they look the same. I see no difference between any of these special stages.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, aside from the placement of the rings and the fact that the boosters and the springs are in different places, there's not really any difference, really.
I do wonder how much of this game's problem is from them actually half-assing it, or them actually trying, but because the technology they were working with was probably straining the Game Gear as it was, that they had to minimize stuff.
I wonder.
This looks like some bootleg game.
Well, I guess if I'm going to be totally fair, regardless of how much this is pushing the Game Gear, the frame rate is solid. So it's not like they're slowed down or anything, so I guess there's that.
Anyway,
no slowdown.
Anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and read both versions of the plot, because there's a Japanese version and a Western version to the plot.
Go ahead, read as the Japanese original, since I'm assuming that's what one of the developers intended.
Here's the Japanese one. Accordingly, renowned resident hero Sonic the Hedgehog was enjoying a nap on his palm tree hammock during a peaceful afternoon on South Island. His response was interrupted, however, by the blinding flash of a Chaos Emerald. Yeah, Chaos Emerald just happened to appear right before him. The emerald shattered into 5 different colored pieces with an ear-splitting shriek, scattering off into the distance. Suddenly, the booming laughter of Dr. Eggman echoed above him. The villain had been aiming for Sonic with a laser beam, but struck the lone Chaos Emerald instead. Despite his error, Eggman was pleased with the unexpected results. He impulsively wanted to use the 5 shards of a shattered emerald to fortify his new aerial base, the Silver Castle, which he created after he realized that the other emeralds began to scatter away from South Island. Just as Sonic prepared to set off in search of the pieces, Knuckles the Echidna stepped out from the shadows of a nearby tree, having witnessed the event. To assume he was just watching Sonic for reasons, the 2 heroes resolved to foil Dr. Eggman and collect the miniature Chaos Emeralds to restore it.
Wow, and for once, Knuckles didn't blame Sonic for what happened. So that's nice to know.
So now you know why we're going after 5 Chaos Emeralds. These are actually emerald shards of just 1 Chaos Emerald.
Oh, so it's like that one episode of Sonic Underground.
Which is weird because the special stage just tell us X got Chaos Emerald. It doesn't say anything about a shard.
I wonder if that has to do with the Western version of the plot.
Probably.
Can you please read?
Yes. Doctor Robotnik's latest scheme. A mysterious island has surfaced near Sonic's home, an island with a revoltingly familiar shape. The ball dome and walrus-shaped mustache are a total giveaway. Robotnik has built another floating platform to carry on with his plan to rule the world. Of course! Sonic the Hedgehog and Knuckles the Echidna decide there's only one thing to do. Get to the platform, break inside, and do some serious property damage. Unfortunately, that is precisely what that egg-headed villain was counting on. Robotnik has laid a series of traps he thinks are infallible. His plan is all too familiar. Get rid of his nemesis Sonic for good. And once that's done, collect the Chaos Emeralds in order to gain the power he needs to take over the world! Travel with Sonic the Hedgehog or Knuckles the Echidna for a maze of traps, evil robots, and fearsome scenery, and prove to Dr. Robotnik that there's no trap made that a determined Sonic or Knuckles can't overcome.
And the Chaos Emeralds aren't even mentioned in that story.
Actually, the Chaos Emeralds were mentioned in this one since they're apparently part of Eggman's plan.
Oh, they are? Oh, yeah.
So it's this stage, huh?
So, wait, I have one question about that boss we just saw. Is it possible he can knock you off the platform?
No. The platform is always below you. Kind of like the plane is always below you in Sky Chase, basically.
So, welcome to
I was about to say, wow, that's one step closer to being a Crash Bandicoot boss.
So yeah, welcome to Blue Tubes Zone, as I like to call it.
Also known as Blue Marine Zone.
Yes, Blue Marine.
Personally, I prefer Blue Zone comms.
Okay, there you go. See, exactly. See, here's the problem with this zone. Okay, first off, in Act 1, there's a problem where if you go to a specific, if you go to specific places in the level, the current will take you backward and you have to try again. See, the problem with this particular section is that you have to know specifically not to jump too high, otherwise the current will throw you back, so you have to be careful. See, and if you fall, that happens.
This looks annoying.
It is.
Also, I gotta mention, am I the one who knows that Knuckles looks like Mighty when he's doing that flailing sprite?
He does. So basically, here's what you do. You have to be careful. Try your best to climb. When you're playing as Knuckles, fortunately, you can always do the climb. Unfortunately, I was a moron, and instead of going through the pipe, I jumped and got screwed over. So let's try that again.
Please tell me it's almost done.
Okay, here's the bit. Well, Deji, I want to properly show off why this is a problem, remember. But anyway, okay, like I said, yeah, if you have Knuckles, and I do, if you have Knuckles, you can just climb the wall, like I just said before. However, if you have Sonic, you have to use those small platforms. However, remember, if you're going to use the platforms, you have to remember to not jump too high, because if you jump too high, the current will catch you, and you'll go all the way back to the beginning of this section. So yeah, as you can probably guess, everybody, this section is freaking annoying. Ugh, and thank you, Bobo, for screwing over my climbing. There you go.
I was trying to be helpful, just Not good timing.
There you go. What's with these 8-bit games and their obsession with tubes?
It feels like the early version to the grinding, you know, something that was meant to help be a cool and quick transition. Except whereas grinding actually does look cool, tubes are just, well, they're fast.
Whatever. So yeah, the tubes are, that's the primary problem with the Act 1 of Blue Marine. The tubes that can be freaking annoying. Fortunately, once you get past that bit, now it's more platforming than anything, and since I'm playing as Knuckles, it becomes even easier to get through, so fortunately the rest of the zone isn't that bad. It's just your generic, bland Sonic battle level design, and we're done. Yeah, pretty much, yeah, most of your playtime in this act is dealing with those annoying tubes, basically, as you can see. Alright, and now Act 2, which is also has its, but this act is a maze! Yay!
Maze is my favorite.
Great. And there's also tubes in it. Not as many tubes, but there's still tubes in it because, you know, the developers hate you. There you go. Here's another one.
YouTube you.
Okay. So the idea behind this app is you have to find the right path. There's various tubes you can take, so basically explore, try to find the correct path. There's also going to be parts that you cannot access because you have to press a certain switch that's hidden somewhere in the level. So yeah, this is one of those levels that really makes you feel like you're a rat in a maze. Just because,
well, echidnas are considered a form of rodent, so...
Yeah, yeah. There are times, of all the times to have the characters do something akin to their species, and they choose it this now and in this specific way.
Okay. One good thing about the tubes is that they do reset your air counter.
They do, yes. Yeah, pretty much, yeah, what Jova said.
I guess they figured that, you know, they would have to implement that to be fair, given how long these water stages can go.
Oh no! If that wasn't the case, this zone would be flat out unplayable. Like seriously. Ugh. And yet again, that particular section still has that stupid current thing that just, like, seriously, couldn't you at the very least eliminate that current gimmick? It's annoying, and it just ruins what you're trying to do, because basically I'm supposed to jump to the right when I get to that section, but again I have to avoid the current so that it doesn't... There you go, see? I'm supposed to go to the right now, but that current screws me over, and it's like, seriously, this is not challenging even, it's just annoying. You have to know...
You can barely see the current as well.
I suppose the idea is to jump on the platforms
over
the current, but they're so small that it's easy to miss.
Not just that, like, again, like I said, it's not challenging, it's not fun, it's just annoying. You could have perfectly done it without this thing here. Ugh, it's so annoying whenever you're trying to do something in this zone, and then the current completely throws you back, and you have to go all the way back to try again. Yeah, sorry, I accidentally pressed the fast forward button there. Sorry. Yes, Jova?
I cannot help but wonder if someone actually had fun with this, or figured that, hey, the water stages are too easy, so let's include the current, because... Well, the current in this level seems to be the main thing holding you back from progression, so I wonder if that was honestly their attempt to supposedly make things more challenging, because they thought it would be too easy otherwise.
Hey, Aspet, Sega's on the phone. They want you to stop annoying the player.
Yeah, because
I don't think Aspect is around anymore.
Ouch. Well, yeah, that's the thing, though. This game, when it came out, got mixed reception.
Jova, pick up the phone.
I wonder why.
And that was...
It's so much fun.
Yeah, this game is the pantheon of 8-bit quality.
Let me put it like this. This game feels more like it's successful at being a tech demo.
There you go.
For a game console that was pretty much on its way out.
There you go. Basically, I used the moon jump to, you know, because see, the problem with trying to land on that tiny platform is that, like Jova said, the platforms are tiny, so they're hard to land on in the heat of the moment. Not to mention the small screen makes it so that I only see the platform when I'm right next to it, so it can be hard to react accordingly. So yes, Shira?
Does the drowning timer reset when you enter the tubes?
Yes.
It does.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
It does, actually.
I didn't notice that before.
Well, let's face it, Shira. If that wasn't the case, this zone would be flat out unplayable. I mean, seriously, completing...
Because for some reason, bubbles aren't really, as plentiful, shall we say.
That is true, actually,
also,
yeah.
You have to go through all this to find the special stage.
Not just that, Shira. The special stage in this... and by the way, Shira, this is yet another case where the special stage is only on Act 2. Yes, they took that away in Sonic Chaos and Triple Trouble, but they brought it back from Sonic 2 for this game.
I'm pretty sure we saw where it was when we entered this room, but jeez.
Ugh. But yeah, like you mentioned the special stage. You might have noticed that I did come across the big ring earlier. Basically, here's how the special stages work. If you do the special stage in Act 1, you only get an extra life. You do the special stage in Act 2, you get the Chaos Emerald Shard. So don't bother with the special stages in Act 1 unless you're that desperate for increasing your life count.
Now, to be fair, in this version of the game, the Western version, they are still considered the Chaos Emeralds, and I do have to wonder which one makes more sense. The Japanese version would suggest that a shard of a Chaos Emerald is just as powerful as the whole dang thing, and that is now what is fueling Eggman's latest plan. Or the Western version that suggests, hey, Eggman's after the Chaos Emerald, so get to them before him, which is, the usual shtick.
That one makes more sense, though, considering they are straight-up Chaos Emeralds.
Let me explain this, by the way.
So I guess in some ways the Western version makes more sense, ironically.
Let me explain that, by the way. Off-screen, in trying to, rehearse for the recording of this, I tried my freaking hardest to explore the zone ad nauseum for, like, an hour and a half, trying my best to discover how the hell you're supposed to get through those walls that prevent you from getting to the special stage ring, and I could not, for the life of me, find a path to it. I explored the act for 90 minutes, and by that point I got fed up. Okay, fuck it, I'll use the walk through the walls cheat because I'm so done with this game by this point.
I thought you were going to say you looked it up.
Yeah, why not just look it up?
I could, but you know what? Fuck it. If the game is not gonna...
Wait, but I can explain that. He saw me calling him a fake gamer because he used cheats, so he tried to use his remaining pride to do something fair and square.
And look how it worked out.
Usually I only care about playing fair when it feels like the game earns my attempt from my efforts, because I don't find this game worthy of my utmost attention, to be honest with you. So tune in next part, everybody, where we put this abomination to rest.
See you then.
Yeah.
See ya.